Hello everyone, and welcome to another Starcraft 2 replay that is paused. There we go. And this is going to be on Lost Temple versus a Zerg opponent. Blaze Hydra, he's spotting the 12 o'clock position. Blaze Hydra is about number 10 in his Diamond League, and probably his most unique statistic is that he's played about 800 games of Starcraft 2. And depending on when you've watched this video, it may not seem like a lot, but just to keep in mind, just as some sort of perspective, I consider myself a fairly active player since day one of StarCraft, and I've played about 200 games of StarCraft 2, so yeah, this guy definitely has an experience edge over me. And I'm spawning the 6 o'clock position as Terran. So, I've been getting a few questions, a lot kind of on the same theme. Okay, first of all, a lot of people are asking to watch my replays. So I think what I'm going to do is actually share the directory I keep all my replays in, and then you guys can just kind of go through and watch whatever you feel like watching. What I could use is some information about how to share it. I'm kind of an old school guy when it comes to internet, so I'm thinking FTP site, but I'm sure there's software now that's a little more friendlier than an FTP site. The other thing is my IP address changes every couple weeks, so you would always have to come back to my channel to find out the real address of my FTP site. So maybe there's an easier way of sharing a directory on the internet. If you guys know of anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll maybe do a little research myself, or I may just say screw it and throw up an FTP site because I know how to do that. I did scout up here for an overlord coming from the 9 o'clock, didn't see anything, so I am sending a scout over to the 3 o'clock to see if Zerg is here. But instead I see an overlord going this direction, so I know he's in the 12 o'clock position. But had I found the Zerg, I just want to check this spawning pool status just to see if I'm safe to fast expand. And I was a little late sending out that scout. I usually like to send this supply depot scout out to scout this base. And one of the nice things about that is if I don't scout it, usually by the time he returns, he gets back to here just in time to place the command center. So I don't even have to pull an SCV off my line. It's a minor thing, but it's just a nice little cool timing I found. And then as for the replays, a little more specifically, people want to see a replay of that match I posted. I think it was called like something like TVP versus the best Protoss I faced yet, where I actually lose the match versus Protoss on Desert Oasis, I think is the name of the map, and he just Psystorms the hell out of me and feedbacks my medics and medevacs, and makes archons and expands me a little bit. Actually, watching that match, if I actually spotted his 12 o'clock expansion, which is right near my base, I could have taken it down and probably would have won the game despite losing all the battles. So, anyways, for that replay, I'm just going to upload it somewhere to one of these replay sites, and I'll post the link to that in this video description, and I'll also post it in the description to the videos for that TVP best Protoss player I faced yet, or whatever. And then a couple more questions. Yeah, so that was Artix R89 and Welcome to Reason who asked specifically for that replay. I think there's one other person did earlier too. Now, the Love Stud and JLIU83 are asking for strategies versus Zerg. Can't remember their questions exactly. I think one was asking how to handle versus like Lings, Bailings, and Mutas. And I'm actually going to be facing that this match, so I won't be talking a whole lot about it, but maybe you can get some ideas from watching this match. By the way, Zerg went for a fast expand himself, so I'm not going to get a giant economic lead. And that wasn't a response to my build, because he's only just finding out that I fast expanded here. That was his plan from right at the beginning. I think he went spawning pool, then he got hatched on like 16. So yeah, I think obviously there's my way of playing versus Zerg, which is trying to match him economically. As you saw in my last video versus mass expanding Zerg, it may not be the best way to play Zerg, although that's probably the first and only time I've had a Zerg try to beat me with economy. Usually they're happy to just play their standard build, which is, expanding at their usual timings rather than responding to my build and expanding harder. So I think this is one way to play them. You can keep you keep economically even, and then you just destroy him. But the fact that Terran's, big ball always beats Zerg's big ball. Doesn't matter if you go mech or bio. Because Zerg's advantages are more map control and economy, not their army power. The other way, I think you can just check out like other people's channels who post like pro replays, and really the way you want to do it is you want to get Reaper harass going, and you want to keep the Reapers alive, micro them well, maybe set up bunkers. You can set up a bunker and take out his expand, or bunker to block off his choke, and then kind of expand after that and switch into bio after that. So generally you want to be able to match the Zerg in economy, or you want to harass their economy so they won't take a giant lead. What else? We got a question from... I'm going to pause here, I guess, just to answer this question. From the Love Stud again, asking how to halt production on your building. So like he says he gets harassed on, like his SCV gets harassed, he doesn't know how to pull him off. You may say that's a simple answer, but I want to talk a little bit about it, because there's two ways of doing it. You can click on the building itself, and there's a button called Halt. The hotkeys T, by the way. Or you can select the SCV itself and press Halt. And I think what I'd suggest is forgetting about the building altogether. Because, first of all, if you just box the building in the SCV, it's going to give you the SCV. And then if you halt with the SCV, you immediately have it selected, so you can tell the SCV to immediately attack the drone or send him back to your mineral line, whatever you want to do with it. So I think there's a couple of advantages to using SCV that way. And then the problem with the click on the building pressing halt is, like, you got a big X here, and then you got a big cross out here, and these buttons are close together and look similar, and you may accidentally cancel the building one time. I mean, 99 times out of 100 you'll click the right button, but every once in a while you might click this button. And since if you cancel stuff often and you halt things often, you can get mixed up. I mean, every once in a while I'll like scanner sweep a mineral patch instead of calling down a mule. So if I can do that, you can definitely click the wrong thing on a building. So I suggest just box it off, get control of the SCV, press halt or press T, and then do whatever you want with that SCV. And as for saving it, when it's getting harassed, I suggest sending out 2 SCVs instead of 1. So if he's getting harassed by a drone, send out 2. Because if you just send 1, by the time he gets here, you're going to have 1 live SCV and 1 that's dead or near dead. And you really can't fend off a drone and continue building on this building if you have 1 near dead SCV and 1 live one. But if you send out 2, you can either triple attack the guy and kill him, or you can pull the weak SCV back to your line, put one of your fresh ones on the building, and then have your other fresh one chase the drone around. That's all I gotta say about that. Zerg just does test my front line. He gets in, sees that I got a little bit of a wall here. And I have sent one scout in here to his base. I saw he's got a utility hatchery up. It's popular on the Asian servers, not so much on the US servers where I play. And some sort of building here, which I assumed was a Bailing's Nest. It was. I didn't actually spot it, though. I guess it could have been an Evo Chamber or a Roach Warren, or maybe a second spawning pool in case he loses the first one. I don't know. I've seen stupider things happen. Excuse me. I do have a cold right now. So yeah, I did get this wall set up, and I got range on my planetary fortress. So the Ibex cannon will get good range, and since he has to run around this wall, the chance of a Bailing bus actually getting through this wall is very low, because the fortress does one-shot Bailings en masse. So at this point in the game, I'm really just concentrating on getting my macro up, just trying to get my Marine count up, trying to get my SCV count up, making sure I'm not supply capped, and at the same time trying to tech to Starport for medevacs. And Zerg has taken his 3rd expansion. So one last question, and this is actually a question I'm posing to you guys, is I've also gotten a lot of positive feedback on the live sessions I put up on my stream, or on my YouTube channel, and I don't actually have a stream. That was just a slip of the tongue. So if you want more live sessions, it's going to have to be a compromise. So this is the compromise I'm putting to you guys. I can either keep doing as I'm doing now and just put up a live session here and there, because I have a lot of technical issues when I record live, in that it's I don't have the best response time, and I'll even get lag spikes here and there just because Fraps is such a hog on my resources in recording. Um, sorry, just let me finish that question, then I'm going to talk about these mutas coming in. Um, so a lot of times when I try to record live, it hampers me a lot. Sometimes I have to cancel the recording halfway through because it's just destroying my game. So I can either continue just doing a live session just here and there, just when I'm willing to like kind of sacrifice a game, or I can do more live sessions, but I'm going to have to record it at a smaller res so it doesn't affect me. Maybe 720p, but probably 480. And then if I do that, I can put up more live sessions. So do you guys want more replays and guaranteed like 1080p or even original, which is higher than that, or would you like more live sessions, but the live sessions are actually going to be at 480? Probably, maybe 720, but probably 480. That's the question I'm posing to you. All right, now we're back into the game. This is something new I've noticed from Zerg, so I kind of wanted to point it out. He doesn't actually do it here, but I don't notice a lot of Zergs are doing this. What they'll do is they actually sit their mutas here and pick off your SCVs here. And you may say, how is that possible? Because mutas only have a range of 3. They can't hit SCVs from out here, but they actually can. And the way they do it is a little trick. They just fire at your refinery. And the splash damage, like the low hit points of the SCVs and the pretty high splash damage from Mutalisk, like it'll hit the refinery and bounce off, and they'll start picking on all these SCVs and killing them off just from the splash damage. So what you want to do to counter that is make sure that your missile turrets not only cover your expansion, but they cover your refinery that's sticking out. And since I got range on my Ibex cannon, I also have range on my missile turrets. I got range of 8 now. So that'll actually cover the Mutalisk coming in here. So just something to be aware of. I did scan the Spire, so I am ready for it. I got my 2 missile turrets here. And at the same time, I expect him to try to come around my base, so I have set up missile turrets here as well, and I got my Marines kind of set up well. Missile turrets all the way around. I put 2 in the back just because this is furthest away from my Marines and probably the weakest point in coming on. Given this supply depot and this one are a little bit unprotected, but that's okay. I just kind of built them to be defense versus Nidus Worms. You want to make sure you get sight on your entire base so they can't plant a Nidus Worm somewhere you can't see. I wonder if he can actually fit in there. Not that he would actually know that's an open space, but